Let's be honest. We all talk about focus, being productive, getting the job done daily no matter what. Most of us working 8 to 10-hour days like to say that we work all of those 10 hours. But a lot of the time, there is always something that interrupts our flow. It could be a coworker walking to our desk, our phone buzzing with a text message, or an Instagram notification or an email popping up. It pulls us away from our concentration and distracts us. We live in this century of information economy, but ironically, the same technologies that build the information economy are depleting our ability to do any kind of deep work. But deep work is required for any task that pushes our cognitive abilities. Now more than ever, we need to figure out a way to develop this deep work state just because of these distractions. Now let's be honest, if you're an office goer surrounded by employees, you're bound to have coworkers that are going to come to your desk for XYZ reason. Or if you have a typical job like mine, then you will have to constantly monitor your emails. All of those things are considered shallow work, but absolutely necessary too. And that's exactly what Cal Newport talks about in his book, Deep Work. So first of all, what is deep work? Deep work is a state where we are performing professional activities distraction-free and something that pushes our cognitive abilities. But deep work is hard if you are continuously available for messaging platforms like Slack or Teams, or if people are messaging you left, right, and center just to get a response right away. If you consider social media, an even worse thing about constant notifications is not just the endless communication and new information, but that it's unpredictable. The addictive quality of social media is due to the rewards we get at random times and not in a predictable pattern. We cannot predict which refresh of our newsfeed will reward us with interesting information. This randomness makes us want to go for more and more and never lose its appeal. Now, Cal Newport understands that not everybody has the privilege to lock themselves up and work on their product until they are satisfied. We all are working with companies that have either open floor plans or are just working with employees that discuss their progress with Slack or Discord channels, or are just connected via email and are expected to respond in under 24 hours. This is called shallow work. All of this feels productive, but when you look closely, you realize that you are being reactive to other people's queries. Staying on top of a Slack channel or an email chain makes you feel like you are connected through and through, but in a deep work state, real meaningful work comes out. Imagine you get to spend 3 distraction-free hours at work. If you are able to do that, you can spend the remaining time responding to people's questions or responding to emails. If you use deep work for your 9 to 5 job, now you can avoid getting exhausted at work and use the remaining energy for any other item throughout the day. So now the question is, how do we do it and how do we get better at it? Now there are many things that Cal Newport talks about in his book, but these are my takeaways. If you are a remote worker or work from the office, or even if you work for yourself, there are ways of building a deep work environment. For example, you must build a space that is only meant for deep work. When the pandemic hit, I used to sit with my laptop on my dining table on the couch while the TV is running, and a few months later, I had the laptop in my bed. Instead, what Kel recommends is that you design a space in a way that as soon as you enter it, you just know that this space is only meant for deep work. This way, there is no activity overlap. This helps build a habit of deep work that is associated with this location. Now, Cal doesn't talk about this, but I picked it up from another book about triggering behaviors. When you go sit in your home office that is just meant for deep work, you can start a scented diffuser or a candle or have a hot cup of tea. Do that enough times and your brain will associate these cues with deep work, and it will be easier to enter the deep work state. Now, all of this is well and good if you work from home, but it's not as easy if you are in the office. You can't just start a diffuser at work. But a way to let everyone know that you are about to enter a deep work state, you can use signs that says concentration required, do not disturb. At my work, we have signs saying exactly that. I use that all the time whenever I want to get something done with complete focus. To be successful at doing deep work in the long term, you can try different schedules to see what best fits your lifestyle and work life. There are people like Bill Gates who use seclusion type, who is known to take Think Week twice a year, where he secludes himself from his team and just reads and reads on the topic he cares about or is about to invest in. J.K. Rowling also has a similar story of writing the last Harry Potter book, Deathly Hallows, in a 5-star hotel in Edinburgh, just because she wanted to get away from any and every distraction. But not everybody has that luxury of isolating themselves. So the other option is periodic type, where if possible, carving out a couple of days a month or 1 day a week to perform deep work would be ideal. I sometimes choose Saturdays for making my YouTube video. I would record everything, transfer it to my computer, and start editing right away. It's not always a deep work state, but you can feel the flow and the focus that comes out of such times. It's about practicing deep work again and again and train it like a muscle. If we talk about a 9 to 5 worker, most employees have to deal with shallow work that they have to attend daily. Shallow work includes responding to emails, attending unnecessary meetings, or have cubicle discussions that lead to nowhere. Me being a 9 to 5 employee, I have to do that too. But if we can set aside a couple of hours every day where you're not allowed to be disturbed, that would be amazing. For example, I do this often. Whenever I reach work, the first thing I do is I check my emails that came from the day before. And then I spend a couple of minutes to prioritize it based on its urgencies. But once I do that and respond to the emails that require my attention, that's it. I do not check my email for at least a couple more hours, let alone respond to other people's questions. Just imagine how much deep work you can get done between the 2 times you check your emails. I get it, not everybody has that flexibility. But if you do, try to force yourself not to respond to emails, not to check your emails more than twice a day. This book actually goes into great detail about how to use email in a concise manner that does not waste your time unnecessarily. For example, if you want to meet someone, then a bad way to email would be, yes, let's meet for lunch. What time works for you? A better reply is, here are my times over the next week when I am available. If any of those work for you, let me know and please send a calendar invite. This prevents the unnecessary email volleys and closes the mental loop for you. So the point is to clearly define the next steps and not keep too many thoughts and unanswered questions on your plate. This one was an eye-opener for me because I like to think that I am good at deep work in certain types of things that I do during the week. But Cal talks about so many instances that we are so weirdly wired in this world of internet that we do not like to be bored even for a short while. And that's why we reach for our phone every couple of minutes. We are so weirded out by just standing in line at a cafe without reaching for our phones. I have even noticed that when I use elevator at my work, I reach for my phone even in that 10-second short elevator ride. I have to constantly remind myself that it's okay to be with my thoughts for 10 seconds. Just checking Instagram in that time is not going to help me one bit. And that's why Cal talks about setting an internet time limit per day. We can do that on our phones with screen time use or even the time we spend on our laptops. If you set it for the hours you need it, then you don't have any leftovers to be using that time just browsing on your phone mindlessly on the couch after a long day at work. If you know you're going to be on your phone or your computer or just on the internet as part of your work, plan out those hours in advance and that will stop you from using it outside of it. Speaking of planning, one way of defining success daily is planning your to-dos for the day. Having such a list is a good metric for you to gauge your success and see how much you are meeting your own goals. That's definitely a way of developing your focus because you know there is a win at the end of the list. But out of all of this, my favorite way of maintaining my tasks without any distractions is using the Pomodoro technique, where I work for a set amount of hours and then I get a couple of minutes of break and repeating that a couple of hours every day. I find that just turning the notifications off on my phone and just facing it downwards actually helps me reach my daily goals. There are many timers out there that you can use, like 45 minutes on with a 15-minute break, 50 on, 10-minute break, or if your work allows it, you can even do 25 minutes work and 5 minutes of break. Just imagine how much work you can get done if you use these timers couple of hours every single day. If you do this for 2, 3, 4 hours, it's surprising how much work can be done if we are not reaching for our phones. Because I read this book a while back, I just wanted to refresh my memory on this, and I was able to do that by using this platform called Shortform. Shortform is a platform that has loads and loads of books and their summaries. If you're short on time, you can use Shortform to check out the key takeaways from a book before you invest in it. The way I use it is to reread a book that I have read a while ago and I just want to refresh my memory on it without spending hours on it again. If you're interested in this, there is a link in the description that will give you a 20% discount on a yearly subscription. That's about 2.5 months of this service for free. If you like my content and want to support my channel, use the link, you get a discount and I get a kickback. I actually made a video summarizing the platform too. I will leave the link for that in the description as well. So these are the reasons why I recommend this book to everyone. When you use these techniques on a daily basis, it gives you a very satisfying ending for the end of your day. And only deep work can get you there. For me, deep work includes writing a script for my video or spending 4 hours straight editing a video. If I talk about my 9 to 5 job, I have certain core duties where I don't need to talk or discuss with anybody else. I can spend a couple of hours daily just doing that. That satisfaction does not come from responding to emails or just having meaningless meetings. So there you go, lots to think about. See what you can do about your daily tasks and your to-do lists. But in order to do this, we need to have the right mindset that we are willing to put in the work, willing to understand that yes, there is room for improvement. And how do you get that? I talk a lot about that in this video that just popped on your screen about how to develop a growth mindset. Check it out. Until next time, cheers.